Looks like the map number 1 will be Ohana.
Ohana.
Ooh.
Ohana.
Oh, mama.
Have you ever known anybody named Hana?
I know someone. Yeah, I do actually. My RA from second year of college.
Ohana. Ohana.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Bitter walked in the room, asked if it was live, but yeah. Even Mr. Bitter doesn't know it's live. Come on, Ben, get with the program. We're halfway through the season. Even Mr. Bitter questions it's live.
It's conspiracy.
Now Conspiracy Keanu comes back on the Team Liquid forum.
Okay, I do want to mention one thing really quickly. Last season, LoWeLy had 1 group stage win. 1. That is absolutely insane.
And now he's here in Season 3 with $600 from NASL. So.
Oh yeah, $150 on the line for every single match.
Yeah. So another change, Ben, that we've been doing in Season 3.
Oh,
Mr. Bitter. Yeah. Come on, Mr. Bitter. But yeah, so this is Ohana now. Mr. Bitter's been tracking the stats in the segment, the balance sheet, which of course you could check out at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NAStarLeague. But we've been seeing that Ohana is the most played map, or most chosen map, that the players are requesting in their series. So Ohana's seen a lot of play, and let's break it down. What can we really expect on Ohana, Andre?
Oh man, well, a lot of times it just goes into macro game. I love that factor. I mean, there's 2 base all-ins from the Protoss, but I think they're weaker just because of the third and having them go into this very awkward area. It's also a pretty far distance. There's a tons of things that they have to worry about. So, oh, actually, it's the opposite way. The Protoss is in the top left-hand corner. Let's actually introduce the players first.
Oh, we didn't even introduce. You're absolutely right.
Let's introduce them.
All right, starting in the top left, we have the orange Protoss. He goes by name CrunCher. He's on Incredible Panic, and he is going for some kind of early Nexus. He's going to place the cannon before the 4, so he's not being incredibly greedy. And, of course, in the bottom right, struggling to take out this pylon, trying to see if he can get up his own economy, it's LoWeLy. Now, LoWeLy is a little bit inefficient for the way he did it, but still, he got his hatch rate at a pretty uncontested rate. No attempted cannon rush. And LoWeLy is from Team FXO. Currently on top of his division, 4-0 with 5 points, which is extremely impressive.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back now to what we can expect from this match.
Yes.
Obviously, LoWeLy has been changing up his style since Season 1, so I don't really know what to say just yet. He used to be so tech-heavy, just rush to hive, 13-minute hive sometimes. He would get such fast infestors and rely on Zerglings for most of the game. Since then, we've seen a drastic change in Season 3, and he's really changed it up to the point where I can't put him on a style just yet, but he's making very, very good decisions. The reason why it's pretty easy to go into macro game is because the third base is very accessible via 2 routes. A lot of times, let's say Antigua Shipyard, you can cut off one angle and the third is dead. You can't do anything about it. But now that there's 2 routes and it's a pretty open area, Protoss can't get this super favorable position and that they can just take advantage of their opponent. That being said, it usually goes past 3 bases, and we do see macro games, although there is little harass that can be done throughout the beginning and mid-game phase. So I really, really like this map overall. I think it was very intelligently designed. Thank you to the people that did that. Iron Man from TVW.
And Greetstorp, who helped design the map balance.
Thank you so much. You know, it's so
thinly
great.
veiled brag there.
It's so funny. You know, every single time I listen to Bitter's cast, Bitter and Rotterdam, excuse me, Bitterdam's casts, they always love and brag about how good Ohana is. And I have to agree. I think Ohana was very intelligently designed.
Yeah.
And we get some of the best games overall.
Yeah, so hopefully we can see another great game, guys. Keep in mind, CrunCher, we'll do a little status check. He is going for +1. Now, he does have some flexibility if he wants to pressure, but keep in mind, this is with the new changes. This is not like a week old. This is within the past 24 hours. Queens have 5 range on the ground, so they have a lot more capability of holding off pressure. We've been seeing some of these Protosses. Whenever I watch Protoss stream, I've been catching a couple of games from different tournaments as well. The ability for Queens to kite from early pressure now from Protoss gives them a little bit more flexibility. So sometimes Zergs have been getting Queens a little bit earlier. Nonetheless, I want to point out that CrunCher is also familiar with LoWeLy. Back in Season 2, they met, and CrunCher 2-0'd LoWeLy. So LoWeLy has all this information. Will he be able to hold off against CrunCher's antics?
Again, I think it was very different times, though. Even the time between Season 2 and Season 3, players changed drastically. That's why you never really count a player out.
That's true. very true.
CrunCher obviously went inactive for a long time. LoWeLy kept playing, and obviously he increased in skill by so much. Now, I want to talk about LoWeLy's build very quickly. We do see a hatchery over here at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. That's when it actually started. Maybe actually a little bit after that. What that does is saturates his main and natural very quickly. You can see the gas is starting to stack up for LoWeLy very, very fast. He's going double evolution chamber, and it will be double upgrades. Now, that's the big power of this build in particular. You explode right around now because you don't need any more drones. All your larva is going towards units. Your gas can go into upgrades. It doesn't have to go into, you know, let's say just additional minerals to start saturating your third base. So he'll be really good in this stage. He can do a lot of pressure, but the other fact is he doesn't have a lot of mid-game strength, so he can't look to take a lot of damage off of his opponent or be super aggressive as soon as CrunCher starts to get up his gateways in his Twilight Council.
Yeah, LoWeLy is, the way he's been stacking all of his resources, not necessarily just Vespene gas and minerals, but the way he's trying to manage his larvae, he's getting a 4th hatchery extremely quickly as well. And the whole idea is he's getting Zergling, Banelings, and Infestors out really quickly, just because that kind of composition is very larva intensive. You know, you're going to have lots of resources that you can't necessarily spend because you don't have the larva to keep up. So LoWeLy's planning out this build very heavily, and the whole idea is to deny any attempt for a third base from CrunCher, as well as to be able to hold off, because Infestors, again, as the Muslim was saying last week, very defensive type of unit. We'll see if LoWeLy is going to be able to hold off, or if CrunCher is going to go for some kind of timing. We see +2 immediately queued up here, but no blink started just yet. CrunCher, in fact, starts a robotics base shortly after.
Yeah, and I think this is a very intelligent decision, and I think it's a split decision reaction from his observer looking at the 2 evolution chambers and the Banelings.
Yeah.
Now he knows his opponent is overdeveloping those Zerglings, or at least that's normally what we see. He did see a couple of Zerglings spread out, so he's saying instantly, let me go to Colossus. That's going to be able to defend against infested Terrans and Zerglings very efficiently, disregarding their upgrades as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, if you go playing Stalkers against Zerglings with upgrades and Infestors, that's fool's play, as you die extremely quickly. And CrunCher already showing that he's playing a little bit more intelligently, and that's a really good job there from CrunCher thus far, but his job isn't done yet. In fact, here is patented CrunCher play. Double Robo is about halfway done here from CrunCher. We've seen this when he played against Idra in week number 1 here at Season 3. Now, this just shows that CrunCher is going to turtle heavily on 2 base until he can get 3, maybe 4 Colossus. Maybe he can move out with the second one, but the idea is CrunCher is going to stay back for a long time, giving LoWeLy a lot of time. And you can see LoWeLy's already using the time very wisely, getting his creep spread and just generally grabbing map control right now, and I like that a lot.
Well, here's the thing. CrunCher needs to push out soon. He needs to get his Colossus and start forcing his opponent to make some Banelings. The main reason is because you want to limit your opponent as much as possible. Going Zerglings and Infestors really don't do enough. A lot of the times, Zergs rely on that drop, the dropping on top of sentries and really messing over things. So I think CrunCher really needs to push out just to the Watchtower and then move back. And that says, hey, be careful, I can push at any time, start morphing some Banelings. Because if he doesn't, then he leaves a lot of room for his opponent to do tech switches. You could see a Spire over here. He can very dynamically tech into Mutas. That's a very powerful move, especially against this 2 Robo style. And if ever there's a scout and he sees this second robotics facility, that will be the instant call he's going to switch over. Instead, it will be 6 Corruptors on the way out right now.
Love the fact that he's using Contaminate as well to stall Colossus building time. You can see CrunCher is, just like you said, moving out slightly, trying to show LoWeLy at least that he's intending on taking a third base and sitting back for now. LoWeLy, will he try to attempt to deny it whatsoever? He does have 6 Corruptors in production right now. A couple of important upgrades like Baneling Speed and +2/+2 are still in production. LoWeLy does have a lot of capability to put on aggression because, again, it's very mobile style, but will LoWeLy move out? That's a question we have to find out the answer to later.
LoWeLy still doesn't know if the third is going up. It got denied, obviously. The Zergling that was over here got denied.
Oh, it's a
he still doesn't know if it's a 2-base all-in, but this should give some sort of clarity, excuse me, to what CrunCher's motives are right now. And I think LoWeLy is actually okay. He needs a couple more Corruptors, actually a lot more Corruptors here. Let's look at the units tab. It is 10 Corruptors out in the field. So, you know, it's kind of risky at this point. I like this fungal growth right here. If you can take out some of the Stalkers, it'll be very advantageous. Ooh, he takes out one of the Colossus immediately. And here we go. The Banelings are going to get in here, devastating the Stalker ball. My God. And now the Colossus are left.
Yeah. LoWeLy is completely crushing this Protoss army. CrunCher ineffective to the max. In fact, he back at home, he tried to wall off, and there was almost a counterattack, but he's just going to leave his Stalkers to die now. The Stalkers don't even have Blink. And CrunCher's army was completely immobile. GG. LoWeLy takes game number 1 in very convincing fashion. And
very
CrunCher,
seamless game, right?
Yeah, it was a very strong, good game, and I think just everything down to the wire. Both players did good scouting and both good reactions, but in the end, CrunCher just didn't have enough.
I think what CrunCher read was it is Zergling Infestor, and normally LoWeLy goes to that Broodlord tech very fast. When he does that, he kind of skips over Corruptor sometimes. And not only that, the third was a little bit later. Again, a 6-minute, 30-second hatchery going down for the third base. It's going to delay your 5th and 6th gas quite a long time. What he didn't realize is the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gas was taken very early, so it enabled LoWeLy to stay up in that gas count, and he was able to tech switch pretty nicely. And I liked it. LoWeLy just made sure all of his bases were covered. He was able to defeat any Colossus push, and it seemed like a very clear build order win. It was just him playing safe and CrunCher playing a little bit greedy to what he thought the metagame would be.
Let's take a little closer look at the final moments of that game. Now, the big thing is that CrunCher lacks a lot of mobility, doesn't have Blink to really protect the Colossus, and he doesn't really have that much space to work with. You can see the initial Fungals was trying to push CrunCher back into the open area, and that's exactly what engaged. Look, I mean, he was backing off to the area where now he's in the wide open, so even if CrunCher force field, those slippery Banelings managed to get in, and from there was really no contest. Corrupt just cleaned up the Colossus, and LoWeLy was able to really just dominate from there.
And you know, that's a very different push than something like Antigua Shipyard, dual site even, and what's the other map I was thinking? Daybreak. That was 270 degrees that he had to defend. That's a lot of force fields and a lot very split-second force fields. So you're going to have redundancy there. It's going to be a little bit more inefficient. So CrunCher's 2-base all-in doesn't really work out on Ohana. And I felt like it would work on other maps. We'll see where he actually chooses to go in a little bit.
All right, guys, so that was game number 1 between LoWeLy and CrunCher. Thank you so much to Epson, the people who provide the projectors for NASL Season 3. We'll be back with game number 2. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started with Division number 4, so hang tight. We'll be back soon.